pair of tickets right now by the end of the show if you enter the keyword net. Like nothing but net.
Net.
N-E-T. Enter that on 975thefanatic.com's contest page. By the way,
what's that?
it is now sponsored. Is that correct?
It is.
There it is. Sponsored by Barlow Chevrolet and Delran for honest pricing and dedicated service. Visit 975thefanatic.com for complete details. Yeah.
Good job, Barlow.
Nice of them to make the Thomas Invitational happen.
I already told you.
I don't think that's why they bought it, Connor, but I'm not going to speak for Barlow Chevrolet.
I'm standing behind Connor.
I don't want it to be that easy.
Nope. I am standing.
Can we get a shooter back
I'm
there?
standing behind Connor, and I will knock your ass out.
Yeah, guess what? That
Early.
is, we are.
A lot of smack talk. If he kept quiet, if he was humble about it, I'd say, you know what?
I am absolutely.
Go ahead, find the little kid to stand behind you so that it makes your life easier.
I got a couple things, too, and I will be on one of the mics. These two are separate. These two are right next to each other.
Yes.
And the Colarulos are separated.
They have to be. Yeah.
Now, I know they've just had a baby, and they're a beautiful couple. They are separated this year. There is at least a couple people between the Colarulos.
Yeah, that was a conspiracy theory.
Because that was set up. Bill's a master.
Anytime he missed, she missed. Anytime he made it, she made it.
It was unbelievable.
Just we found out who the better basketball player was in the family.
She was. She had much better form.
All right, so I want to start with the positive, John. How about that?
Let's do it.
Philadelphia sports media goes positive. Why we should have buzz for the Phillies. So last week when you were out, and this was before Connor's vacation, when both of you guys were slacking at the same time.
Yeah, as you slack next week. Thank you.
Connor and I were talking about the Phillies for a little bit, and Connor was very upset with a group of Phillies fans that are doing the whole wake me up when the playoffs happen or going into the season expecting more doom and gloom, right? Because there are people that do that, not a huge percentage.
Tell me before we start this conversation in earnest, you guys tell me what percentage of the fan base you think falls into that. He's got
the Locked On Phillies podcast.
What percentage of this fan base you think is in the gloom and doom? Well, this team's not going to win anything. I mean, they can win as many games. I don't care.
I'd say 15, maybe even pushing close to 20.
Okay. No, I totally agree with them. We're all on the same page.
Yeah, it's not 50-50.
Okay, we're all on the same page then.
And this is different than the buzz conversation.
Right,
the buzz conversation is a lot bigger because we have had very little Phillies discussion, obviously because of the Eagles, but, it's not like people, how many times have you gotten the, hey, can you guys talk about the Phillies today tweet? I haven't gotten any of those.
Are you kidding me? I get that. You guys don't talk enough about the Flyers and the Sixers.
Well, yeah, but I haven't gotten any about the Phillies. So
no, not. But that's an indictment.
Right, exactly. So one of the reasons why we believe, Connor and I, and I'm sure you do as well, Johnny.
Okay.
Why there should be a lot of buzz is this team's still going to be pretty damn good. They're going to win 90 games. I imagine a floor as long as there's no major injuries, which something you and I talked about off air yesterday during post-show headlines. That is a concern of mine just because the group is getting a little bit older. But that aside, their pitching staff is going to be nasty.
It's going to be really good.
It could very well end up being the best rotation in baseball. And that's not something to just ignore.
How about I'll say to you right now, I believe they are the deepest rotation. I think when you go 1 to 5, I'll argue that they are the deepest rotation.
You got 1 to 5, and with guys waiting in the wing, Andrew Painter's not even part of the 1 to 5.
Yeah, he's still July.
It's weird. They almost have more starting depth than they do bullpen depth.
They do.
Which never happens.
They do, though.
I will say bullpen is a bit of a concern of mine.
It should be.
But right now, we're starting with the positive.
Right, exactly.
And you have that ridiculously good and deep pitching staff where your bullpen might be able to get by, not being this isn't a rotation. Maybe early on in the season when they're stretching out arms, but this shouldn't be a rotation where you're only hoping for 5 innings. Like when Taijuan Walker would pitch, you're like, please just get through 3 and only give up 2 runs. This is a rotation where if a starting pitcher gives up 3 or 4 runs in an outing, you're going to be like, not their best day.
It won't be their best.
Right,
correct.
Exactly. Remember last year, up until June, everybody's ERA was in the 2s or low 3s.
And with this offense, this should be a pitching staff that pitches from a position of power and comfort.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to get extra opportunity to have a little buffer.
Right, exactly.
Which is good.
And this offense, even though there are concerns with approach and how things have fallen apart the last couple of years, especially in the playoffs, and that long slog of the end of the season last year, they are still talented. And I'm going to go into a season expecting that talent's going to end up playing out.
Okay, now the thing is, though, when you say talent's going to play out, okay, so we think, I think we're all on the same platform of the train station. Where I question you is this. How much confidence do you have, though, that this team is going to be different? That this is going to be a different year? We're going to have a different result this time. This team is more prepared. By the time they get to October, this team will be more prepared to be successful.
I believe it will be more of the same, and you just got to hope that they don't go ice cold.
See, I hate this about baseball fans, though, is that, yes, there are things about baseball is one of those sports where I do believe the baseball playoffs is a huge crapshoot. I really do, because like in football, you rarely see the team come like the Phillies did, the Diamondbacks did, where they come out of left field, do nothing. They're the worst team getting in the playoffs, and then they run all the way to the World Series. Mm-hmm. In football, you usually see it play out. Basketball, you almost always see it play out to be the best teams. Baseball, you can have blips on the radar. But the way the Phillies season has ended, 3 years in a row. I hear people say 2. 3 years in a row. With their bats just going whimper dash. 2022, 3 games. 2023, 2 games at home. And 2 of the games, then 2024 last year. When you see them go out with a whimper every single time without any fight in them, it's something that to me is of great concern.
But here's the thing. You say this is your problem with baseball fans. No, it should be your problem with baseball.
What do you mean?
The Dodgers won the World Series last year. That is correct.
Sure.
So they got over the hump.
Right.
In 2022, when they lost to the Padres in 4 games, they won 111 games that year. They
did.
111-51, which is ridiculous.
But their pitching staff fell apart.
I can tell you the lineup fell apart.
I did, but they also had major injuries too.
Here were your starters for 4 games. Trey Turner hit 333 in that series. Freddie Freeman hit 357. So they carried their load, right?
They did their part of the job.
Here were the rest. Will Smith, tremendous catcher, 188. Mookie Betts, MVP, probably a Hall of Famer one day.
Came up small.
143. Max Muncy, great player, 286. Gavin Lux, 231. Trace Thompson, 154. Justin Turner, 154. Cody Bellinger, 143.
Okay.
So they all went cold. A lineup that won 111 games that year went cold. It's not just
so the
like
Phillies
a
have done
baseball
it 3 years in a row.
Right, and the thing is, you got to hope that they don't go cold.
Yeah, but the Phillies didn't do it by being – last year they were just freaking cold, except for Game 2.
Yes.
The 2 years before, they were red hot. And then when the lights got the brightest and the pressure was on them, the last 3 against the Astros, they got shut out.
Right,
they got no hit in a World Series game. It's the makeup and the approach.
Well, I was about to say, is it an approach thing or is it a bright lights thing?
I think it's bright lights is part of it.
Well,
absolutely part of it. And it's not. I'm not saying for a guy like Bryce Harper.
No, but it might be for some.
But even Bryce Harper has gone disappearing act in some of those down the stretch when they were falling
except
apart.
For last year. Last year, is Castellanos and Harper were the only 2 guys that did anything. So look, is there buzz for the Phillies going into the season? We want to lead with the positive, but I know there is going to be a lot of negative buzz going into the season as well. So we want to hear from that as well. If there isn't buzz for you, why is it? 610-632-0975. We'll check our text line for the first time this morning. Obviously, also, if you want to react to the Eagles signings from yesterday, feel free as the offseason continues. But I saw something yesterday, Johnny, an email about the Phillies that put a major smile on my face, and it makes me feel old. And I feel bad for saying that next to you. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
Thank you so much for checking out our content on the 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, you can always be checking the playlist. There may be something you missed from one of our shows during the day that you want to go back and check out. So every time you like a video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and you'll have that great content coming to you every single day. You're greatly appreciated.